December 21st, 2014, from the O.Co Coliseum in Oakland, California. It was the Buffalo Bills to the Oakland Raiders. And the Bills won the toss. They elected to defer, and so the Oakland Raiders would take over first. They would start off on their own 20 after the kickoff. They would go 3 and out, so they would punt from their own 26. So now the Buffalo Bills would take over on their own 40 after the punt. They would end up bringing the ball into Oakland territory. And on 2nd and 10 from the Oakland 42, Kyle Orton out of the shotgun found Sammy Watkins, and he took it 42 yards for the touchdown as the Bills put the first points on the scoreboard in this game with the score Buffalo 7, Oakland 0. So now the Raiders would take over on their own 20 after the kickoff, and they would go 3 and out for the second consecutive possession as they would end up punting from their own 21. The Bills would end up taking over on their own 46 after the punt. They had it with just under 9 minutes still left in the first. They picked up a first down, but after 6 plays, they were faced with a 3rd and 9 from the 38 of the Raiders. Kyle Orton dropped back, and he was intercepted by Charles Woodson from Michigan. So now the Raiders would take over on their own 16 after the interception, and they would go 3 and out for their 3rd consecutive possession as they would end up punting from their own 20. So now the Bills would take over on their own 29 after the punt with about 4 minutes still left in the first quarter. Kyle Orton was then intercepted, this time by Carey, but then they challenged the ruling, and it was reversed, and so it was an incomplete pass. The Bills would end up going 3 and out, though, and they would end up punting from their own 34. So now Oakland would take over after the punt on their own 36 with about 2.5 minutes still left in the first. And then on 3rd and 13 from the 46s after they'd picked up a first down, Derek Carr hit Tompkins for a 50-yard reception, and that brought the ball all the way to the Buffalo 4 as it was now 1st and goal. Murray then ran for a yard, and the first quarter came to a close. So after 1 quarter of play, the score was Buffalo 7, Oakland 0. So now to open up the second quarter, the Raiders had the ball on the 3-yard line. It was 2nd and goal from the 3. Derek Carr dropped back to pass, and he hit James Jones for a 3-yard touchdown. It was now a tie game, knotted up at 7 apiece between the Bills and the Raiders. And so now the Bills would get the ball on their own 20 after the kickoff with less than 5 seconds ticked off the clock in the second quarter. They would go 3 and out on the possession and end up punting from their own 24. So now the Raiders got the ball near midfield at their own 43 after the punt, and they would go 3 and out as well as they would end up punting from the 43. So now the Bills took over on their own 20 with less than 13 on the clock in the second quarter, and they ended up going 3 and out and punting from their own 22. So now Oakland would take over at midfield on their own 42 with about 12 minutes left in the first half. And on 2nd and 11 from the 41, Latavius Murray ran for 15 yards in the first down that brought the ball to the Buffalo 44. He then ran for 9 yards to bring it to the 35, and McFadden picked up a yard to make it a first down on the 34. McFadden then ran for 7 yards, and then a no gain brought up 3rd and 3 from the 27. An incomplete pass brought the field goal unit. Sebastian Janikowski attempted a 45-yard field goal. It was up. It was good, as the Raiders were now in the lead by 3 with the score Oakland 10, Buffalo 7. So now the Bills would get the ball on their own 23 with 8 minutes left in the second quarter. They would go 3 and out and ended up punting from their own 26. So now the Raiders had the ball with about 7.5 minutes left in the first half. They had it on their own 27, but on 3rd and 5 from the 32, Derek Carr was sacked by Williams as Kyle Williams and Super Mario combined for the sack. That resulted in a 7-yard loss, and out came the punting unit to punt from the 25 of the Raiders. And so now Buffalo would take over on their own 31 after the punt with about 6 minutes left in the clock in the first half, but they would go 3 and out and punt from their own 33. So now the Raiders got the ball back on their own 41 after the punt with about 4 minutes on the clock in the second quarter. And on 2nd and 12 from the 39, Derek Carr hit Murray for a 19-yard pass. It was a short pass, and Murray picked up the rest, and that made it a first down on the Buffalo 42. And then on 2nd and 8 from the 40, Derek Carr went to the fullback Marcel Reese for a 16-yard reception that made a first down on the Buffalo 24 as this game came to the 2-minute warning. Then on 3rd and 4 from the 18, an incomplete pass, the second straight incomplete pass, would bring out the field goal unit. Sebastian Janikowski came out to attempt the 36-yarder. It was up, it was good, and the Raiders extended their lead to 6 with the score Oakland 13, Buffalo 7. So now the Bills will get the ball with just over a minute left in the first half. They had on their own 23, and on first down, Kyle Orton went to Fred Jackson. He picked up 14 in the first down at the 37. Then on 3rd and 6 from the 41, Kyle Orton went to Sammy Watkins. He picked up 15 yards and a first down in Oakland territory at the 44 as the Bills took their second timeout with about 20 seconds left on the clock. They weren't able to get another first down, so on 4th and 2 from the 36 with 5 seconds left, Dan Carpenter came out to attempt the 54-yarder. It was up and it was good. So the 54-yard field goal made it a 3-point game with the score Oakland 13, Buffalo 10. And that would be the final play of the first half, and that was the score going into the locker rooms at halftime as the Raiders had the 3-point lead. So now the Bills would start off the second half on their own 20, trailing by 3 with the score Oakland 13, Buffalo 10. And on their first possession of the second half, they were faced with a 3rd and 6 from the 24, and Kyle Orton was sacked by Khalil Mack. The rookie dropped him for a 10-yard loss, and that would make the drive result in a 3-and-out as the Bills would punt from their 14. So now the Raiders would take over on their own 35 after the punt, and on first down, Murray ran for 25 yards as he brought the ball across midfield for the first down on the Buffalo 40. Then on 2nd and 6 from the 36, Murray picked up 17. They made a first down in the red zone on the 19-yard line, but they wouldn't get any further. They actually lost a yard, and out would come Sebastian Janikowski to attempt a 38-yard field goal. It was up, it was good, and the Raiders were back up by 6 with the score Oakland 16, Buffalo 10. So now the Bills would take over on their own 20 after the kickoff with just over 10 minutes left in the quarter. They picked up a first down, but after 5 plays, they would end up punting from their own 33. So now the Raiders would take over with about 8.5 minutes left in the third. They had it on their own 20. And on 3rd and 10 from the 20, Derek Carr went to Tompkins. He picked up 11 yards in the first down that brought the ball to the 31. McFadden then ran for 12 yards to bring the ball for a first down to the 43. And on 3rd and 5 from the 48, Derek Carr hit Michael Rivera, the tight end, for a 5-yard reception that brought the ball to the Buffalo 47 for the first down. Then Derek Carr went to Holmes for a 12-yard pass and was a first down on the Buffalo 35. Carr then fumbled they had a mishap with the snap, and so he recovered the fumble, but now it was 2nd and 14 from the 39. He then went to Tompkins for an 8-yard reception, but an incomplete pass would make it 4th and 6 from the 31, and Sebastian Janikowski would come out to attempt a 49-yard field goal. It was up, it was good, and the Raiders now were in the lead by 9 with the score Oakland 19, Buffalo 10. So now the Bills would take over on their own 17 after the kickoff with about 2.5 minutes left in the third, and they would get into Oakland territory, and on 1st and 10 from the 26, an offensive holding penalty would move him back to the 36. And on 1st and 20, Kyle Orton hit Robert Woods for a 7-yard pass that brought the third quarter to a close. So after 3 quarters of play, the score was Oakland 19, Buffalo 10. So now to begin the fourth quarter, the Bills had the ball on the Oakland 29. It was 2nd and 13. Kyle Orton out of the shotgun hit the tight end Scott Chandler for a 29-yard touchdown pass as the Bills made this a 2-point game with the score Oakland 19, Buffalo 17. So now the Raiders would get the ball on their own 22 after the kickoff with less than 15 seconds ticked off the clock in the fourth quarter. And they would end up punting the ball, though, after 4 plays from their own 41. So now the Bills get the ball back, trailing by 2 with 12 minutes left in this game in regulation. They had it on their own 14-yard line. Kyle Orton then hit Fred Jackson. He took it 12 yards for the first down to the 26. But they lost 4 yards on the next play with a similar. It was Orton to Fred Jackson, but then they picked up 9 yards. Orton to Fred Jackson. Now it was 3rd and 5 from the 31. Orton went to Robert Woods. He picked up 6 on the first down at the 37. They wouldn't get another first down, though, and out would come the punting unit on 4th and 1 from the 46. So now the Raiders would take over after the stop, and they had it on their own 20 after the punt with a little over 8 minutes left in regulation. They're then faced with a 3rd and 1 from the 29. Derek Carr picked up 2 on the run, and now it's first down on the 31. But then on 2nd and 10, a holding penalty would move them backwards to the 21. And then on 3rd and 22 from the 19, Derek Carr out of the shotgun. It's Andre Holmes for a 51-yard reception as it was now first down in Buffalo territory at the 30. Then on 2nd and 6 from the 26, McFadden picked up 25 yards as he ran it all the way down to the 1 as it was now 1st and goal. He got stuffed for no gain on 1st down, but on 2nd and goal from the 1, Derek Carr dropped back and hit Olawale for a 1-yard touchdown pass as the Raiders extended their lead to 9 with the score Oakland 26, Buffalo 17. So now the Bills with the ball with less than 3 minutes left in the 4th quarter, trailing by 9 with the ball on their own 20 after the kickoff. Janikowski kicked it through the end zone. And on 1st down, Kyle Orton was sacked by Tuck for an 11-yard loss. Buffalo took their first time out. Now it would be 3rd and 21 after an incomplete pass from the Buffalo 9. Kyle Orton dropped back to pass. He was intercepted by Ross. And now the Raiders took over in Buffalo territory at the 26 with less than 2.5 minutes left in this game. They then gave it to Murray. He got stopped for no gain, and the Bills took their second timeout. They gave it back to Murray. He lost a couple yards, and the Bills took their final timeout. So now it's 3rd and 12 from the 28. They gave it back to Murray. He lost a yard, but this game went to the 2-minute warning. And now in field goal range on 4th and 13 from the 29, they brought out Sebastian Janikowski to attempt a 48-yard field goal, but it was no good. And so the score remained Oakland 26, Buffalo 17, as the Bills would now take over on their own 38 after the missed field goal with less than 2 minutes left, trailing by 9. And on 2nd and 12 from the 36, Kyle Orton would hit Fred Jackson. He picked up 34 yards as he brought the ball all the way to the Oakland 30. Then they were faced with a 2nd and 10 from the 30, and Kyle Orton dropped back and he hit Robert Woods for a 30-yard touchdown pass. And this was once again a 2-point game with the score Oakland 26, Buffalo 24, with less than a minute, well, just over a minute on the clock. It was less than a minute that it took them to score. But now with just over a minute on the clock in the 4th, a 2-point game, the Bills went for an onside kick, and Charles Woodson from the University of Michigan recovers the onside kick. And there was actually a penalty offsides against Buffalo. And now Oakland would take over on their own 39, and all that was left to do was for Derek Carr to take 2 knees in the victory formation as the Raiders win this game by 2 points with the final score Oakland 26, Buffalo 24, and the Raiders now improved to 3-12 on the season. All 3 wins coming at home as they're 3-5 in Oakland, and the Bills are now 8-7, 3-4 on the road. And in this game, Derek Carr was 17 for 34 with 214 passing yards and 2 touchdowns. And Kyle Orton was 32 for 49 with 329 pass yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. The leading rusher in this game was Latavius Murray of the Oakland Raiders. He had 23 carries for 86 yards. And the leading receiver in this game was Fred Jackson of the Bills. He had 9 receptions for 93 yards to go along with his 10 yards rushing off of 6 carries. He was also the leading rusher for the Bills. The leading receiver for Oakland was Kendall Tompkins. He had 5 receptions for 90 yards, the former Patriot, and Andre Holmes had 3 receptions for 73 yards. Murray also had 3 receptions for 22 yards to go along with his 86 yards rushing. And the rookie Sammy Watkins for Buffalo had 3 receptions for 75 yards, and Robert Woods had 7 receptions for 52 yards. And on defense in this game, the game's leading tackler was Miles Burris of the Oakland Raiders. He had 13 tackles in this game. The leading tackler for Buffalo was Denoris Searcy. He had 11 tackles for the Bills. They had 1 sack. That was that sack where Kyle Williams and Mario Williams combined for a sack. They each had a half a sack. With the final score, Oakland 26, Buffalo 24.